Hello and welcome back to Sakura Spirit. In the last episode we were introduced to our protagonist and the main character in this story, a 17-year-old boy named Takahiro. And we learned that Takahiro didn't really have an outward aligned interest in the other gender or gender specifically. Rather, he was more interested in getting himself ready for his judo match, which could lead him to an international career within judo fighting. As he was nervous, he listened to his classmates speaking about a shrine in the forest, and seeing no better alternative and having tried a lot of other things, he decided that it couldn't hurt to pray for good luck. So he went and he prayed, and then he passed out, seeing the glimpse of a strange woman. When he woke up, he was in the forest and not in the shrine, and suddenly he heard the voices of 4 girls, 2 of them with fox ears and tails, being chased by 2 regular girls wielding a katana and a naginata. They all seemed surprised. They seemed surprised at his appearance, but when the older of the fox girls threw a set of panties at his face, they managed to make their escape in the commotion that caused. The 2 armed girls seemed surprised that he was talking about a city and only mentioned a village, and they dragged him off to be jailed in the village. Let's continue. When we exited the forest, alarms set off in my mind. The city I had lived in my whole life, it was gone. You have got to be kidding me. If I wasn't in Tsukino Toshi, where the hell was I? Hey, no talking. Come on, I don't want to bob you that much. Kinda. Maybe a punch at you. I just want to know how the heck you blocked my strike so easily. Your attack had a lot of power behind it, but it was kind of predictable. With the right movement and enough force, that's the result you get. Anyway, I'll play along for a bit. Where in the world are we? This clearly isn't my hometown. I mean, the buildings look like they belong in some sort of classic samurai movie. Huh? What the heck is a movie? This is Harumaru. It's been here forever. Hikage, I thought I told you to silence him if he spoke again. Actually, you told me that I could, but you didn't tell me that I had to. Must be tough being the subordinate of someone like that. Be quiet or I will silence you for good. This time it didn't seem to be an idle threat. The girl had unsheathed her katana and was now resting the edge of the blade against my throat. I was already starting to regret having played a hero earlier. Hopefully there would be someone with more common sense in the village. Several minutes later. I soon found myself confined within a small room, the stern-looking tsundere of a girl glaring down at me, while the other girl, who was apparently called Narumi, seemed to have softened up a little. From what I had gathered during the conversation, they had called the village elder to help oversee my questioning. What purpose did those thefts have? Or are you just some pervert who gets off sniffing girls' undies? I ought to castrate you. I already told you I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, not to mention anything worn by you would probably smell sour. I couldn't see too well from the cell where they had put me, but I was almost certain I could hear Narumi laughing nearby. Tsukino Dono, please calm down. Calm down? You brought him in to learn the reason behind his presence in the forest, didn't you? That is correct, Elder-sama. I believe he was working together with the fox spirits to steal panties and other undergarments. Objection! Huh? What are you objecting to, young man? The evidence surrounding the defendant's accusation was fabricated. Narumi-san, would you please answer this question for the judge? Was the defendant, that is myself, anywhere near those girls while you 2 were in pursuit of them? Hold it! Just who are you calling a judge here? Lower your voice or I will strike you down. Hey, Miyo-san, maybe the whole angry accusation thing isn't working. This guy clearly isn't a bandit. We could just ask him why he was up there in the woods. If he has a valid reason, then sure. If not, then he's clearly a panty thief and we'll use him as a punching bag out the yard. Finally, and here I thought this was about to become a turnabout case. I sighed deeply, partly amused by my own act, despite the seriousness of the situation. Who would have ever thought mimicking characters from games and movies would end up getting me out of trouble? As long as I didn't become an ace prisoner, things would hopefully turn out for the better. Wise idea, Narumi-chan. How about you start by giving us your name? Gushiken Takahiro. So what were you doing in the forest when these two were chasing thieves? I'm not entirely sure myself. One moment I was praying at the shrine, hidden inside the forest. Next thing I knew, some weird girl was talking to me. A girl? Yes, a girl with horns and tail. I know it sounds weird, but I could have sworn I saw her before. I must have fainted. After that, I woke up somewhere in the forest. Tsukino Dono. Narumi-chan, do you recall the stories behind the shrine near our village? Forgive me, Elder-sama, I do not recall. I know it's a place of high spiritual energy, a sacred place, but I can't remember the details. Sorry, grandfather. That shrine belongs to Tsuyuri, a powerful spirit that has been watching over our village for as long as anyone can remember. Unlike the fox spirit, we tend to avoid going too deep into the forest. I still think I could get rid of those pests once and for all if you would just let me go in and find their home. It's probably hidden in some damp cave on the hill or some run-down old house. Humans and spirits rarely mingle, even if they meet with good intentions. The fact that this lad says he saw a spirit means there's a chance he was there for a reason. Not to mention, did you take a good look at him yet? He seems disorientated and his clothes look foreign. He did seem to be talking gibberish a bit earlier. He claimed to be from a city near here, but there's nothing like that around for miles. He was also talking about something called a movie, and he used some fighting techniques that I've never seen before. He's still a pervert! I'm not a pervert. It's perfectly natural for a guy my age to be curious about certain things. Besides, if you're talking about how the panties ended up in my face, I had nothing to do with it, Sundara Tyrant. What did you just call me? I ought to smash you to pieces, you brat! Oh, wait, now that I think about it, those two foxes did look like they were just abandoning them. But, grandfather, what does that all mean? I can't be certain. However, I believe it is unlikely that he is working together with the fox spirits. Still, I have never heard of any human to come upon a spirit such as Tsuyuri. I dare say he might not even be of this world. Wait, are you trying to say that I'm in a different world now? That would be the most logical explanation. In what world would that be considered logical? But I have an important tournament to participate in 2 weeks from now. Well, no one has ever experienced something like this before. We will have to think of how to deal with you, or if it's even possible to get you back to your own world. In the meantime, a night in the cell won't hurt. He did assault a village guard, and he resisted arrest. He could stay here until he rots for all I care, but I suspect the elder will wish to have a talk with you soon. Hikage, I'm going to clean myself off. I suggest you do the same. I would take offense for implying that I stink, but that was one hell of a run. Those fox spirits run fast. I would still like to know more about those techniques, Takahiro-san. If you do happen to stick around, I might want to go for a few rounds with you. It's not like I'll be going anywhere for the time being. It's only for a few hours while we discuss what to do with you. A person such as yourself would end up causing quite the commotion amongst the villagers, so it's necessary to convince them that you mean them no harm before we release you. And that was how I found myself stuck in a jail cell, while the people responsible for my situation left to deal with personal errands. This sucks. As if being sent to a different world wasn't bad enough, I'm stuck in jail with my only company being a pair of beautiful, magnificent, majestic fox sisters, you lucky boy. A pair of beautiful... Wait a second. Yahoo! Hey there, panty boy! A familiar face appeared at the top of my cell. A blonde girl with golden eyes. As I watched, she flipped over and landed in front of the cell, waving her hands at me. From the side of the cell, another girl appeared, a wry grin on her face. Ah, it's the panty thieves. If you're here to reclaim your hostages, they are already back where they belong. Nope, We saw the guards go into the bath and swipe the bed in silk again. Look! With that, she pulled out a pair of lacy silken underwear from her sleeve and stretched it out with her thumbs, showing off her panty prize to me. You came all the way back here to snatch the underwear again, and I'm not sure the Thundra Tyrant fits that label. The cutie with the katana, you would be surprised. I happen to believe that she is as innocent as one can be. She seems far too uptight to let any man touch her. As for returning to the village, we have a debt to settle. I smiled weakly as I wondered what the fox meant by debt. I'm not sure what this debt of yours might be, but I think you better leave before those two return. You don't seem to be on friendly terms with those samurai girls. Wait, if he doesn't know about it, we can just leave, Onisama. Meiko, this is not how we do things. Young man, your actions allowed us to escape our earlier predicament without harm. This places us in your debt, for which we are now repaying you. Meiko, do the magic. Okay. The younger girl walked forward and placed her hand upon the locked door of the cell. She began mumbling something that I couldn't even begin to understand, and her hands began glowing brightly. Different worlds, girls wielding weapons, and now fox girls using magic. Next on the list, I'm going to find a talkative magical sword and end up destined to save the world. That's it. I was curious to see what this magic would do to the lock keeping me imprisoned. Ha! The glow flared for a moment before quickly fading. There was a hiss and then a sizzle as the lock dripped to the floor in a mess of melted metal. Well done, Meiko-chan. You did very well. Relax for now, all right? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be the most surprised about. The fact that the girl just melted a steel lock, or that I'm starting to accept that this is normal. This level of magic is extraordinary. Meiko-chan is quite gifted. But as I said, we are here to settle our debt. If you would like, we can escort you back to the forest where we first encountered you. I do, however, suggest that you decide quickly. The guards do not bathe for long. I should know. I have observed them for a while. Well, I don't plan on sticking around, so I'll gladly accompany the two of you out of here. Maybe I'll be able to find my way back home. Lead the way, peeping Temi. Machiko. Sakura no Machiko, not Temi. Takahiro, but I suggest we keep introductions for later. Very well then, Takakun, follow. As I was stepping out of the cell, the sound of a familiar voice boomed in the distance. Thieves! Crafty, foxy kleptomaniacs! I will skin you alive! I think that's our cue to get out of here. And with that, the three of us darted out of the prison. That's pretty much what happened. According to the village elder, there's supposed to be a shrine somewhere in the forest. It must be the same one I visited before I got caught up in this mess. Goodness, that sounds like a terrible situation. I know that spirits such as Sayuri enjoy playing with people, but this seems a little cruel of her. I would speak with her myself, but we, fox spirits are not allowed near the shrine. Huh? I thought the reason we were never to go there was because you get all frustrated whenever Chu-chan's around. Shut up, Meiko! I didn't realize a panty thief could get embarrassed like that, but maybe you two could show me the way to the shrine. Somehow the layout of this forest seems different from my world, which pretty much meant that Aria's map was useless now. You do not understand. There's more to the ways of us spirits than meets the eye, Takakun. I'll try to navigate you to the shrine, but if Sayuri does not want us there, then we will simply not get there. The only place we can navigate to directly are our home and the village. I could use gate magic, but that takes a super long time to cast, and unless I concentrate really hard, I usually ends up taking us someplace, not fun. I think I'll prefer taking the ground road, but thanks for your offer. Meiko-chan, was it? That's right, Sakura no Meiko at your service. Yay, my first human friend. Silly girl. Not that I doubt your navigation skills or anything, but didn't we cross this path a while ago? Oh, you're right. Why are we back here, Onisama? Huh? I thought you were leading the way. Wait, I think if we turn this way, cut through these trees, we might... Ah! The girl seemingly disappeared out of sight as she stepped in between two tall trunks, only to be followed by a loud splash. I ran towards the trees and looked down to see the girl, arms flailing wildly, neck deep in a slow-moving river. Onisama, quick, please, you have to help her. I'm begging you, I'll do whatever you want, just please save her. Help! It doesn't look that deep, you know. Don't tell me that your sister can't. She can't swim, neither of us can. Please, Takahiro-sama, please rescue my sister. I guess I don't have a choice. Smiling weakly, I pulled off my jacket and dove into the river, the cold water sending shivers down my spine as I swam towards Machiko, who, despite the lack of a strong current, was slowly disappearing under the water. Urged on by the worried shouts of Meiko, I tried to reach the girl as quickly as possible. It took me a few strokes before I reached her, but by the time I had grabbed hold of her and pulled out of the water, she had lost consciousness. She's not breathing. I felt my stomach drop. Dreadful thoughts of what might happen if I didn't do something began to fill my mind. But what in the world could I possibly do? CPR? I don't know what that is. She's not breathing. Help her. Save her. Onisama, please wake up. Okay, but I need to concentrate. Can you find something to dry her off with? Right. Great. A mage without a revive spell. As if trying to steel my nerves of what I was about to do, I muttered those words just before leaning in. All I could remember from my first aid training was the patient had to be in a so-called recovery position, and that I had to blow air into their mouth and push down on their chest. My heart pounded faster and faster as I looked down at the fox girl. I could feel my cheeks heating up as the blush spread across my face. Clumsily, I put her into what I hoped was the right position, and slowly I lowered myself toward her face, my lips parted. If you were this desperate for a kiss, you could have just asked. I know I'm beautiful, exquisite creature, but pushing me into a river so you can play a hero is a bit much, Takakun. It's not like that. I went in to save you. Oh, why thank you, O valiant hero, for your rescue. I must admit, I'm not the greatest swimmer. But, it's often better to get permission from the maiden you rescue before you claim them as your reward, silly. I didn't have a choice. I either claimed your lips or death would have claimed you instead. And a bold choice it was. Where's Meiko? I hope she didn't try to save me first. She's even worse at swimming than I am. She's fine. She should be heading back here right now. In that case, I believe we have enough time. So how about it, Takakun? My little sister will be back in a few minutes, and I'm sure a boy like you probably have never kissed a girl before. So how about it? Want to claim this maiden's lips? Don't make me toss you back into the river. Oh, such a shame too. I was looking forward to finding out just how sweet your lips tasted. I'm not sure I want to find out what wet fox tastes like. Oh, I assure you I taste a lot better when I'm wet. For some reason, I don't think we're talking about the same thing anymore. I felt my cheeks flushing up slightly at Machiko's teasing words, and I awkwardly scratched my cheek. Anyway, at this rate you're going to catch a cold. Then perhaps you should warm me up, Takakun. More importantly, we need to get you out of those soggy clothes. Oh my, Takakun, so bold. Please, won't you unbutton my top for me? I'm not sure where that would be unbuttoned, actually. It seems fairly easy to pull off, but... Oh, the buttons might be on the back. If you insist. My fingers shook as I reached down the laces of her bodice. I was blushing brightly and my head was spinning as fast as I felt my fingers touch the cloth. Before I could continue any further, I heard a whoosh behind me and felt something very heavy impact against my body. My body toppled forwards. I felt a nasty blow to the back of my head. Onisama, I brought the... Oh no, Takahiro! I could barely focus as the blonde fox girl began to fuss over me, but it was no good. Between running my butt off all day, the Sundara tyrant, the following rescue, and now the blow to the head, I felt myself slip into a consciousness. Later that day... Hours must have passed by the time I finally regained consciousness. The first thing I noticed was something soft resting against me. For a moment I wondered what it could be. Little did I know that whatever it was, I would soon be very much awake. This should be safe. There's no... I might just put some... Put some safety in. Anyway, yeah. Machiko? My voice caught in my throat, easily betrayed by my surprise at seeing the fox spirit resting beside me. Of course it didn't help that she was stark naked. My gaze drifted along her features. I hadn't really put a lot of thought into it until now, but she was really beautiful. Now's my chance. I had been curious about something for a while now, and I decided to finally get my answer. I carefully lifted my hand towards her head, my fingertips lightly caressing along a single furry ear. To my surprise, the fur felt real, confirming my theory. So she is a real fox spirit. As I looked over the peacefully sleeping girl, it was difficult to imagine someone like her being a panty-stealing troublemaker. Up close, she looked incredibly cute, and naked at that, no less. The fact that she was lying right beside me caused my cheeks to flare up beet red in an instant. No, Yuri, not again. Is she dreaming? Amused by this, I reached a hand out to poke her cheek gently, but the sound of footsteps made me reconsider. Ah, Takahiro, you're awake. Shh, don't wake up Onisama. She's a light sleeper and she's been super tired lately. Sure, but Meiko-chan, mind explaining why your sister is sleeping next to me without clothes on? You two look super cute all cuddled up together earlier. Onisama said that you told her it was important that she took her clothes off, so she took hers off and then we took yours off. After that, she tried to keep you both warm by getting under the covers and laying in the sun. However, in the end, she fell asleep. Were you watching me just now? Yep, you were both sleeping so soundly. It was super adorable. I wanted to cuddle up with you too, but Onisama told me off for cuddling with her in her sleep before. I think I get it. She does look rather adorable when she's sleeping like that. Let's keep it that way for now, Meiko. I took a deep breath. I was about to open my mouth to say something when Meiko suddenly spoke up with a smile. We brought you home to a mansion. We brought you to a spare room because it has the best light during the day. I was only watching you for a bit, then I got bored, so I went and made some soup. Onisama always makes me soup when I feel bad. Do you want some? Sure, I could go for some soup, but Meiko-chan, before that I need to ask you a favor. I need you to go and get my clothes, because I'm kind of naked here. I lifted the blanket enough to allow a shameful glance at the cause of my current predicament. My face visibly took on the shade of tomato when I noticed Meiko leaning over for a similar peek under the blanket, and I quickly closed the gap. I think I'm going to stay under the blanket for a bit. Could you just please bring me my clothes? But you might wake her up if you don't go back to sleep. But fine, if you insist, I'll go get your clothes. You're no fun, you know. I wanted to see what a human looked like, but Onisama forbid me from peeking. Please, just go. The girl almost skipped to the door, giggling to herself. The door slid open and she hopped outside, vanishing behind the paper screen. Once I had confirmed that Meiko had left the room, I turned my gaze sideways, focusing back on the peaceful expression of the slumbering fox by my side. For a moment I thought about things the two girls had been accused of. Okay, so stealing underwear isn't exactly the nicest thing to do, but when I look at her like this, I can't picture her as anything but a normal girl. While the temptation to lift the blanket was strong, I felt a little nervous about the thought. Still, much as I tried to hold myself back, I couldn't resist the temptation of turning to my side to get a better glimpse of her. Gingerly, I took a hold of the blanket. No, Takahiro, neither a gentleman nor a hero takes advantage of a sleeping lady. And yet, who am I kidding? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. In the end, the perverted little devil within me won the morality struggle, and with shaking hands I tried to lift off the blanket. Stop! Yikes! I don't want any blackberries. White as the very sheet I was lying on, my heart pounded louder than ever. Without a word I dropped the blanket. She was still dreaming, mumbling away in her sleep, but she had scared the living daylights out of me. After a while, Meiko returned and deposited my now dry clothes in my lap. She smiled at me, lingering for a few moments as if expecting me to begin changing. Oh, of course, the soup. I'll get it now, but don't change too slowly, okay? I bet you'd hate for me to sneak in a peek. Don't think guys spend as much time changing as girls. Wait, were you planning to peek on me? It occurred to me that perhaps Meiko was a little more like her sister than I had first assumed. It just sounds like you know what you're talking about, Takahiro. And well, I might have been thinking about it. I'm kind of curious about the difference between us foxes and you humans. Like, it was amazing how easily you carried Sis out of the water. Is it because you're a human? Actually, I think it's because I'm a guy. We tend to be stronger than girls, not to mention I practice judo almost every day. It would be embarrassing if I couldn't even carry a girl. Judo? Judo. It's a sport of thought, although it's used for self-defense. Is that why you saved her? Because of this judo? Well, that's not really it. Ultimately, saving a damsel in distress hinges on a man's pride. Oh, can I see it? Your pride? And what exactly are you looking for, little sister? Oh, Nisama, I wasn't. You're wrong. The soup's still cooking. I need to tend to it. The younger girl scrambled to her feet and dashed out of the room at full speed, her tail comically hanging between her legs as she did. I turned to Machiko with a faint blush on my face, averting my eyes so she could pull the sheet back up around herself. I see you're finally awake, Machiko-chan. With you two making such a fuss about judo and soup, how could I possibly hope to get any sleep? I'm glad to see that you are well, Takakun. Forgive me for taking such measures, but I feared that I wasn't getting warm fast enough, and I did what I thought was necessary. At least it was more enjoyable to sleep than you would have had in the cell. I doubt the Tsundere tyrant, was it? I doubt she would have given you the same service. Let's just say the hospitality was much appreciated. I'm glad to hear that. If you would like to change, there's a screen just over there. I promise I won't look, of course. I guess one of us has to do it. I watched Machiko close her eyes, hiding her face in her hands as if to reassure me she wouldn't peek. Taking my chances, I climbed out from under the blanket and made my way toward the wooden screen. Once I reached it, I quickly began changing. If you could be so kind as to do me a favor, Takakun, my robe should be upon the dresser behind you. Could you pass them to me, please? It would speed matters up greatly. Sure, give me a second. After looking around for a moment, I found the robes neatly folded up on the dresser, my heart skipping a beat as I took a hold of them before turning towards the screen to hand them over. Say, Machiko-chan, how come you two walk around stealing people's underwear? I mean, you don't look like bad people to me. Well, it's complicated. Meiko was researching a spell she wanted to perform, one that would allow us easier access to certain things we need, and one of the ingredients was a maiden's silk. The only silk I could think of was, well, you already know the answer. By maiden silk, you mean... I guess I would understand why you would think that, but isn't maiden silk another term for a wedding sash? It is in my world, at least. As I said this, the girl appeared from the other side of the screen. I never realized. What's that, Unisama? A maiden silk. It's a wedding sash. All our work was for naught. Oh, well, at least the wedding sash will be easier to get. I'll just have to marry Takakun. What? A few minutes later. After that little incident, we relocated to the kitchen. The smell of food filled the air. Despite the young girl's easygoing attitude, always humming some cheerful melody, I found my cheeks still burning from embarrassment. To think that a girl would say such a thing. I quickly shook my head to clear the thought from my mind and turned towards the elder sister. The soup is delicious. Is Meiko-chan usually the one doing the cooking around here? Yay, I'm glad you like it, Takahiro. I usually don't cook, so I only made a few lucky guesses. It is rather delicious, Meiko-chan. Perhaps you could do more cooking from now on. It will allow me more time to lounge around. Well, the first step to getting your wedding sash is to become a good housewife, and that includes cooking. I added this with a bit of amusement following Machiko's comment. I took another sip of the soup. For a few lucky guesses, this dish had turned out pretty well. That's true. I'll learn how to clean, I'll cook for you, and I don't know what else, but it'll be fun learning. Meiko, you should stop that. You know very well that it would be pointless for you to marry him. Only the villagers know how to craft wedding sash, and we both know this will not happen. That's not necessarily true, Machiko-chan. It only becomes more evident that you are not of this world, Takakun. The villagers do not tolerate our existence. They despise us. We could never ask such a favor of them. All we have to do is find some way to make the villagers accept you. But I guess I'll need to learn more about the village itself before we can do that. The pale-haired woman shook her head slowly, her ears flattening against her head as she did. It's not that simple. They would never trust us. Humans and fox spirits have never been able to get along. I'm honestly surprised that you have been able to tolerate us this long. I would be happy to be proven wrong, and you are free to stay here as long as you wish, until, of course, you grow weary of our ways and decide to leave. Onisama, please don't say things like that. Takahiro wouldn't do that, would you? Takahiro? Of course not. I wouldn't abandon someone just because they are a different species. That's not the way Kushiken Takahiro does things. However, I do remember the village elder telling me that it wasn't just the fox spirits. It sounded like humans and spirits everywhere have been on bad terms for a long time. Do you know why, Machiko-san? I do not recall. Much information is withheld even from someone such as myself. Most spirits keep to themselves these days. There are a few exceptions, Tsuyuri being one of them. Powerful spirits come and go as they please, but they tend to remain in their world. Fox spirits, however, have no other place to go. We are stuck in the human world, for better or for worse.
Huh? Didn't realize it was like that. Guess I'm finally learning stuff.
Well, this Tsuyuri character lives in the shrine, right? We should try asking her for ideas.
No, we do not need to go see her. Absolutely not. No, I don't want to see her. I don't want to.
I was somewhat taken aback by Machiko's suddenly childish way of speaking. It reminded me of the times I'd been told to go visit the doctor when I was younger, complaining and throwing tantrums along the way. But isn't she the only one that can help us?
I refuse to go. Tsuyuri is a fiend, and I dislike the idea of spending even a second in her presence.
She can't be that bad, can she? Besides, if anything happens, I'll protect you.
Fine, if it really means that much to you, I will attempt to lead you to the shrine again, but you will enter the grounds alone. I don't want to go anywhere near that place. You will be on your own, Takakun. Can I come, Onisama?
Absolutely not. I forbid it. You are not to follow us under any circumstances, Mako.
Fine, I'll stay here just like you said. I'll be here in the mansion. All alone, unprotected, all by myself. Who knows what might happen to me? I could get trapped under a bookcase and die. Or slip on a banana peel and die. Or get bored and die of boredom. I'd be so super duper bored sitting here all alone in the same place, day in and day out.
Fine, I get it. You may come along, but you must be on your best behavior, little one. No running around, no talking unless spoken to.
Okay!
Despite Mako's cheerfulness, I couldn't help but wonder what had happened between Machiko and this Tsuyuri for her to have reacted so strongly. I decided that maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to spend some time with the two sisters to get to know them a little bit better. Well, I do have 2 weeks until I need to get back to my own world, so there really is no need to rush. How about we do something else instead? I'm sure Machiko-san wouldn't mind the distraction. Well, the longer I get to stay away from that place, the better. How about bringing Mako-chan along to go fetch some dessert for us? There are oranges, apples, and a small vineyard behind the mansion. I could whip up some cream to go along with it if you would like. Sure, that sounds easy enough. Let's get us some delicious fruit, Mako-chan.
All right.
As Mako led me toward the garden of the impressive mansion, she seemed a little quiet, as though she had something on her mind. I wanted to ask her about it, but something about the way her ears sagged and her tail hung low told me that it probably wasn't the best idea. I decided I would simply try to cheer her up. So, which do you prefer, Mako-chan? Apples, grapes, or oranges? We could gather all three, but I bet we can grab a few for ourselves first.
Apples, I guess? I knew a fox spirit once, a friend of Onisama who loved apples. I can't remember her name, though. I guess my head's a bit hollow.
Apples are awesome. Crunchy on the outside and sweet on the inside. And your head isn't hollow, silly. If that was true, I think I'd still be stuck in that jail cell.
Onisama did most of the thinking, though. I just sort of went along with what she said.
Well, someone has to take the lead. Besides, I'm still grateful for your help all the same. How about... I playfully flicked Mako's forehead with a grin. See? It doesn't sound hollow at all. I'm sure there's plenty of clever thoughts in that pretty little head of yours.
Ow! Meanie.
Now you know I'm right, at least. Anyway, let's get those apples, shall we?
Okay, I'll get them. You go grab the basket over there.
All right, let's get down to business. To defeat the Hunts. Feeling hyped, I went to grab one of the baskets stacked nearby and returned to Mako, who had started climbing one of the trees. The girl looked accustomed to climbing, but her small hands had me a bit worried. Hanging from the branch with just her legs, she checked to see if the apples were ripe.
Mako-chan!
Wrong voice, sorry. Mako-chan, be careful, you might slip. Ow! The girl had thrown an apple at me, and while my reflexes let me catch it with ease, the force behind it still stung in my palm a little. Of course, I did exaggerate a bit for the girl.
Haha, I'll be fine, Takakun. I've been climbing these trees all my life.
Even the most experienced climbers end up running into trouble if they aren't careful. I smiled weakly at the girl's excited attitude, placing the apple I caught into the basket.
You don't know what you're talking about. I'm a fox spirit. I won't fall. I'm super careful. Watch. I'll grab the apples near the top.
Wait, Miko-chan. Unless you can fly, I don't think you should go for those.
Fly? I can't do that, silly Takahiro. Who's ever heard of flying fox spirit? Ah!
As expected, the moment Meiko tried to reach for one of the apples near the top of the tree, the girl ended up losing her footing and tumbled down towards the ground with a loud cry. Meiko! My reflexes quickly kicked themselves into gear, trying to catch the girl before she hit the ground. Unfortunately, I didn't notice the apples scattered around the tree, and as a result, ended up tripping over them. I managed another few steps and was able to catch Meiko before I dropped to the ground. My head was throbbing once I had recovered from the fall. I tried to sit up, but found myself held down by a small but substantial weight. Opening my eyes, I looked up to see Meiko sitting on my lap.
Owie! I guess I tried to reach a bit too far. Thank you, Takahiro. You saved me, and you gave me a soft, well, kind of soft and kind of hard landing.
Meiko-chan, do you mind you're crushing me?
Ah! Oh my gosh, Takahiro, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry!
As the younger girl grew increasingly flustered, I knew I had to calm her down. Gently, I tilted my legs beneath her and she toppled forwards, her head resting against my chest. I guess we learned that fox spirits can be pretty clumsy, or maybe that Meiko is even cuter up close than I thought.
Takahiro, I think you're mistaking me for Onisama.
Nope, I'm talking about you. You have that innocent side to you that's really charming. I wouldn't be surprised if lots of people from the village would want to claim you as their adorable little sister once we've cleared up those misunderstandings.
I'll be happy to call you my brother, Takahiro, but lots of people in that village are super mean. I just wanted to spend time with you and Onisama.
Brother? How about darling?
Darling? I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Really, I think we'd be a cute couple. A hero and a fox spirit living happily ever after. Your sister could stay too. We could raise a little family. I mean, we already have a house, so we wouldn't have to worry about that. And any guy from my world would kill to have a pretty wife like you. I held back a chuckle, knowing all too well that my teasing was taking effect. And yet, I was also happy to see her spirit seemingly lifted.
Thank you, Takani.
I think Taka-kun would be better. Machiko-san would probably wouldn't like another sibling. But I'm glad you cheered up. You didn't seem too happy earlier. The way your tail and ears were hanging low reminded me of a scolded puppy.
Huh? All right, I was just thinking this all. You know about the spell I wanted to try? The one that needs a silky wedding undies? Wedding sash. It's kind of like a belt that the bride wears during the wedding ceremony. I doubt any spell involving panties would be a good idea to cast. Oh, I thought it was like wedding undies that you wear on your wedding night. Anyway, the spell, I don't know why, but I wanted to try it for a while now, and, well, it's a gate spell. Not like those temporary ones. Those are easy to make. A permanent one, like a portal to a different place.
It sounds interesting, but are you sure it's safe?
Silly Takani, that's not the point. This spell, it might be able to help you.
Well, that's good and all. I prefer not ending up in the middle of the sea or a live volcano. I think we should be a little more careful with your magic.
I'm a good mage.
That's what Harry said when he told Atlantis he had a solution for their water shortage.
Huh? What's Atlantis?
A city with high ambitions sunk into the deep due to poor management. Anyway, I think it's best if we get an expert's opinion before we try anything. We're going to visit the Suyuri anyway. Maybe she'll be able to tell us if your spell will get me home.
Well, but Su-chan told me I shouldn't use magic at all. She said it was only for her to use something.
Maybe she had a reason for saying that. Like, maybe, I don't know, do spells have side effects?
You're just like Onisama. She forbid me too, but I showed her that spells could be helpful, and that I can control them, so she let me do more research. I'm not going to throw spells around like they're nothing. I'm not a dumb little kid.
I'm not going to do anything. Besides, you seem old enough to take care of yourself. Not that I know how old someone like you might be, but beware of the dark side of magic. In most stories, magic usually comes with a price. Like, what would you do if magic gave you a terrible tummy ache, or headaches, or worse, diarrhea? Then you better prepare a gate spell to the nearest bathroom. Okay, that was a pretty good one. Just love the imagery of a majestic wizard from the top of a cliff casting a lightning bolt and then just you just see the figure of him just clutching his behind like, oh god.
I do get headaches, but those aren't really a big deal. And I get to do a lot of things with Onisama. I'm not going to change that ever. So there.
I already said I wasn't going to make you do anything. However, what you do need to change is the fact that you are straightening me and, you're rather close, so I'd appreciate it if you could get off.
Ah, but you're so warm and soft, I could just curl up and sleep on you.
Wait, don't go falling asleep on me.
Just kidding. I wouldn't do something like that out here. Maybe tonight, though. It's only fair since Onisama got to do it. But more importantly, dessert! We need to get back inside. Onisama is probably wondering what's taking so long.
I couldn't really argue with the girl's impeccable logic. With a smile, I helped the girl to her feet, gathered the few fallen apples into the basket. We returned to Machiko and we enjoyed our dessert together. It wasn't long after that Meiko started to feel sleepy, so Machiko took her to bed, wishing me a good night. And that's where we'll end this episode. So, I wouldn't say we got some character development because the characters are pretty flat in this story. Which, normally as a person who enjoys a great story with a lot of character development is something I'd normally be against. But I'd say that if your premise is a Sakura novel, don't expect a lot of character development or a deep or rich story. Expect fan service and more fan service, essentially. I mean, you saw what happened in Sakura Space. If not, I will post a link to it. I will add it as to the end card. So, until the next episode, take care.